Hello, everyone. All right, today's lesson is going to be about the least common multiple. So we're on lesson 1.3, and our essential question is, how can you find the least common multiple of two whole numbers? So that's what we're going to start today. And remember, we're always going to start with our notes out, and you are going to check out the do now questions. So you're going to try these on your own for 5 minutes. You need to pause now, or you may have already brought them up on the Google Classroom because I did take a picture. Sometimes the print on here doesn't turn out great. So go ahead and pause this and try these 4 problems. I found them pretty simple. A lot of place value questions in here. So go ahead. And when you resume the video, let's go over these questions together. So in the problem, the first one asks for an expression. So remember, the difference between an expression and an equation is that an equation has an equal sign and an answer, has something on both sides of the equal sign. An expression is just the algorithm or the problem without an answer. So for this one, we're figuring out if piano lessons cost $15 and there's 5 lessons, how much money did they make altogether? The piano instructor, so you just write the expression, the problem there. On the next one, you have a fairly large number, 69,500,000. And it's asking what is the place value of the 5? That 5 is in the hundred thousands place. So there's a couple different ways to write that. Then the next one is asking for you to put those in order from least to greatest. So it should be ants, butterflies, then beetles. And then finally, you have a division problem. And when you work that division problem out, it's 26 days. So I do want to go over a quick strategy. For those of you who have a lot of trouble with division, I want you to get in the habit of making yourself a multiples list of whatever your divisor is. So for this one, you'd write 12, 24, 36, and you'd go all the way down to 9 times 12. That helps you figure out what this number is and how many times it will fit in there. So for example, 12 doesn't fit into 3, so I didn't put anything over the 3. 12 does fit into 31, and if I look over here, I can see this is 1 time, 2 times, and it doesn't fit in there 3 times because this is too big. So then I put my 2 on top. So if division is hard for you, a multiples list is a good tool for you to use. So keep that in mind. I'm going to want to see that on your work pages if you're having trouble with your multiplication facts. Okay, moving on to the vocabulary for today. So here's the vocabulary. You just have this one word, and remember, I'm going to go over it and then pause so you can write it down in your notes. Least common multiple. The smallest common multiple in a list of multiples for 2 or more numbers. So remember, a multiple is when you're counting by the number. A factor, on the other hand, is the smaller numbers. What do you divide the number by? This is multiples, so you're like multiplying. So if you do multiples of 5, you're counting by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20. That is what your multiples are. So when you're finding a least common multiple, you're counting by 2 different numbers, or sometimes 3 different numbers, and then finding the smallest number they have in common. So I'm not going to have you write down the I do's. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 problems for you that do not need to go in your notes. Please just watch and absorb the information. So here's our I do problems, and there's 2 ways they expect you to learn how to do least common multiple. 2 ways they expect you to learn. The first way you learned already in 4th and 5th grade, where you list the multiples and you find the one that's in common. So let's go ahead and do that. This is 6 times 1, 6 times 2, 6 times 3, 6 times 4, 6 times 5, 6 times 6. And I'm going to just try my 8s and see if I can get one or if I have to go further with my 6s. So let's count by 8s now. 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 3 times 8 is 24. Oh, look at that. I don't have to go any further because I see I have a 24 in common in both rows, and that's the smallest number that they have in common. So I know my least common multiple is equal to 24. Okay, that's the way you already know. But you do need to learn this way because in 6th grade, the numbers get bigger and bigger and bigger. And this way, you don't have to make lists that go on for so long. So this is the prime factorization way. Your first job is to take each of the numbers that you're finding the multiples and find their factors. So the factors of 6 are 2 and 3. 2 is prime and 3 is prime. So those are our prime factors for 6. For 8, we have 2 times 4. 2 is prime. 2 times 2 equals 4. And those are prime. So for 8, we have 2 times 2 times 2. And for 6, we have 2 times 3. Now, here I have a Venn diagram. If you remember from last year, whatever we put in the middle is common between the two circles. So, and all the information for this 6, we're going to put in this circle. For the 8, we will put in this circle. So first I look to see if they have any numbers in common. And I see a 2 here and a 2 here. Let me get a different color to emphasize this. So I have a 2 in both the factors of 6 and the factor of 8. So I am going to put that 2 in the middle in the shared space of my Venn diagram. And then I look over here, I have a 3 left over for the 6 and there's no 3's here, so I'm going to put that on the 6 side. I have 2 2's, but there's no extra 2's over here, so I'm going to put that on the 8 side. And then to find the least common multiple, you just use all of the numbers inside the Venn diagram. So this one will be 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So this is 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 3 is 24. And look there, we have our least common multiple. So that may seem like a long roundabout way to get your least common multiple. However, when you use really large numbers here, it is going to be the easier way. So you need to learn it. All right, moving on. Let's try a we do. So this one's going to go in your notes. Right here is our we do, 9 and 15. So we do, we're doing it at the same time and together. So go ahead and write 9 and 15 down on your notes. And then our next step is just going to be to list those multiples. So you do this while I do this. Those of you who know your multiplication facts, you'll do them pretty quick. Those of you who don't, you're going to have to use repeated addition to get a list of multiples here. So go ahead and do that now. If you need to pause the video, feel free to do that. All right, I have a list of multiples, so I'm going to check. I did see here that I shouldn't have to go any further on the 15 because I have a 45 in both rows. So I'm going to circle that. I'll see M 45. All right, that is the old way. We list the multiples way. Now let's try a Venn diagram. So you're going to, on your paper, draw a Venn diagram. It's going to look like this. Put the 9 up on one side and 15 on the other, so give each number a circle. Then we're going to do the prime factorization for those two numbers. Go ahead, if you need to pause, go ahead and try the prime factorization on your own while I do it. Okay, so our first job is to look for the numbers in common in both the 9 and the 15. So I see a 3 in both lists. I can put that 3 in the middle. I see another 3 for 9, but not another one for 15, so that goes on the 9 side. And then the 5 goes up here on the side of the 15 because there isn't a 5 as a factor of 9. And then remember, when you want to find the least common multiple, you take the numbers inside the Venn diagram and multiply them together. So let's see if it works out. 9 times 5 is 45. Yes, it does. least common multiple. All right, I want you to try this. So go ahead, pause the video right now and try this. All right, so hopefully you're finished, but let's go over it just for kids that are still struggling and maybe you weren't able to finish it. So I'm going to count by fives here, 5, 10, 15, 20, and fours here, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and I see my least common multiple in those two rows are going to be 20, is going to be 20. All right, so that's one way, LCM equals 20. Now let's do the prime factors. For 5 is already a prime factor, so it's just 5 on that side. And then remember, you don't need the 1 because you multiply by 1, it's just the same number. So don't worry about your 1s. And then for 4, 2 times 2 is 4. Those are both prime. This one doesn't have any number in the center here. They have no common factors. So this one will put 2 and 2. This one will put 5. We'll multiply all those numbers together in the inside of our Venn diagram. 4 times 5 is 20, so our LCM equals 20. Great. So I do want to talk about one more thing, because in your assignment today, there's some story problems that talk about packages of things. So I'm going to turn this you do into a story problem for you. So let's say you're making bracelets and you need, for each bracelet, you need some red beads and some blue beads. And you need the same number of red beads and blue beads to make a bracelet. So these are our red beads, these are our blue beads. You have to buy the red beads in packages of 5, and you buy the blue beads in packages of 4. So the first package would be 5, second package 10, next package would give you 15, and then 20. So you want to buy as many beads as you need so that you don't have any left over and you can make a certain number of bracelets. So the way you would do that is, if red beads come in 5s, blue beads come in 4, you would find the least common multiple and find out that if you buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packages of blue and 1, 2, 3, 4 packages of red, then you will be able to have the same number of beads for that project. So that's one way to look at these problems. Okay. Go ahead and upload these notes, and then you can start your assignment, and show your work will be on a separate assignment. Upload those that show your work as well. Have a great day.